Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 2. We are back. We're going to talk about Brian starting school. And PSA, I feel bad for any of the teachers who had him. Okay. Am I wrong?
And I volunteered for this show.
Am I wrong?
What did you say?
I feel bad for the teachers. Am I wrong?
I don't know. They're probably all dead.
That's harsh. Okay. So,
50 years ago. They were old then. I'm pretty sure they're all
even
gone.
if they were 30, then they'd only be 80 now. Anyway, let's not. All right, backtrack. Okay. So, you live in town, you start kindergarten.
Yeah, I go to kindergarten in town. Don't remember it.
Nothing stands out about kindergarten. Did you cry the first day? Or you don't remember? You don't remember your mom saying that you were bawling your eyes out because you didn't want to go?
No, I don't remember any of that.
Okay. Excuse me. We're going to jump to first grade.
So first grade was, they had enrolled us both, me and my brother, into a private school called the Christian Academy. That was, I don't know, 20 minutes or so from our town. My mom was religious, not full on in your face, forcing it down your throat. Well, ours, but maybe not everybody else's.
Keep in mind, she also graduated from a Catholic school.
Correct.
So,
But was not Catholic, which was non-denominational. Yeah.
do you remember anything drastic about first grade?
Not first, no. Again, I was there for first, second, and third.
See, he makes this impossible for me not to tease him. So you decided to do second grade second time? Something with the twos?
I didn't. That was parents in the school decided that my maturity level did not meet the requirements to move on to third grade.
I just want to know how you got out of second grade then.
Very funny. It wasn't academics. It was.
But what were you doing that your maturity level kept you back in second grade?
Well, the towns that not the town, but the town that I lived in, and the two streets that basically, I lived on the one, and there's one behind us, and they were, like rival streets or just.
So you were a thug in second grade.
No, I wasn't. No, not at all.
Okay, so
I was a lover, not a fighter. I was neither. I was just completely confused, awkward, and.
but can you remember anything in second grade that would have kept you back the first year?
I mean, I was a smartass.
I can't believe that.
I think from a very young age, I just assumed everybody else was stupid.
And for the record, that hasn't changed. He still thinks that.
Like, people just seem very,
And yet,
dumb.
so you think people are stupid, they seem dumb, and yet you're the one who took second grade the second time.
And not by my choice. I was ready for third grade.
But were you really? Academically, you may have been ready, but maturity, you were still in kindergarten.
Again, not my choice. I mean, to that point, there weren't any disciplinary issues that I remember. That came, I think, the second year of second grade and third grade, possibly.
So let's talk about the delinquent that was in his second year of second grade. What did you do?
Well, I also think that was some of it coming from where we did that private school. again, I think a lot of the kids that went there either came from money or better families or stuff like that. They didn't come from, that town.
I don't think the town makes a person.
Honestly, I think me and my brother were the only two from that town that were in that school.
But so people aren't familiar with where the school is. I do know.
No, the school itself's in Brookhaven, which is not a rich area.
No, and I don't know when you were there, but I do know, because it goes up to 12th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So I know when I was in high school, there were kids from Chester going to that school. So I don't think it was always money. I think it was parents that wanted something better for their kids.
But you had to pay for it. And yes, you're getting a better education, but if you didn't have the money, you weren't going.
Unless you got a scholarship, which they offered tons of them. But
I don't think so.
yeah, me and your mama talked about that.
Well, at first grade, I don't think you're getting a scholarship.
No, it's not.
I don't think they're going off your kindergarten grades.
No, it's not that type of scholarship. It's almost like
he knows what an apple looks like.
It's almost like a grant scholarship type thing. But
that didn't happen.
But no, because that's what I asked her, and she said by the time she found out about it, you were already enrolled back in the public school. So, second year or second grade? What changed besides your age?
Nothing that I know of. Again, I was seen at that school as oddly as it is like one of the cool kids, because I was seen, maybe the class clown, or
I can see that.
Got in trouble a little bit with the principals for mouthing off.
So you were the type of the kid that would get paddled and then still do the same thing over again.
Pretty much, yeah. No lessons were learned.
Yeah. So they're always the ones that people are like, oh, he's a rebel. But
or an idiot.
Well, at that age,
there's a very fine line.
At that age, we look at them as, oh, he's a rebel. But yes, as you grow up, you're like, he was really stupid.
Yeah, there's a fine line between bad boy and moron.
So do you remember doing anything in that year that really crossed the line?
You really love bringing this up every time we have a conversation.
I do, because I think it sets a tone.
Oh, you mean the Incredible Hulk thing?
No, not that one. The other
one. Yeah, there was a girl. Mind you, I'm 7 or 8 years old, so don't go barbecuing me for this one. She didn't talk to anybody. I'm not even sure if she talked at all.
I'm sure she did, or else she wouldn't have been in that school.
I don't remember her talking.
Did you like her?
She was very shy.
Did you like her?
Huh?
Did you like her?
No.
They say at that age, when you pick on somebody of the opposite sex, you like them.
No.
You sure?
Yes. She had red hair. Sorry to all the redheads. You know you have no soul.
I'm not really sure where that goes, but okay.
No, it's just, it was kind of weird because this will come back later on. I was, I guess, a bully at that age in that school.
Wow. That will come back, and let me just say one word.
Karma.
Karma.
I don't remember what was going on or why I did it or whatever, but there was other kids in a class that were going in on, I guess, picking on her. And for some reason, I felt the need to put my foot on her side and shove her off of the chair. So I obviously got taken to the superintendent's and paddled. And then that school had a fence, the second floor you walked along and there was a fence. And after you got paddled, they would stick you in a desk right out on top. So everybody going to gym and coming in and out of class could see you sitting up there crying. Because this paddle was about 2 inches thick and 2 feet long. And they didn't hold back.
So she didn't even do nothing. She didn't say nothing to you. She didn't turn around and say, "You're funny looking." You nothing. You just
She didn't do anything.
because everyone was picking on her. Wow, I did not know that part. I just knew what he did. I didn't know the backstory to it. But ironically, it will come back and bite him in the butt.
Again.
I don't want to hear I was just 6 years or 7 years old. I don't want to hear that. I don't.
Are we holding 7 and 8-year-olds responsible for what they did?
Yes, I think we should. If we hold 6 and 7 year olds responsible now,
Let's start executing them then.
I'm not saying execute them. You got paddled, but unfortunately, you were the type of kid
so
who.
I got held responsible.
But you didn't learn.
I never kicked anybody again. Well, not a girl.
Yeah, you should. We'll get into what you did later to a girl.
I never did anything.
Didn't you cause a girl's face to bleed?
No. The hell are you talking about?
Weren't you playing with some kind of toys and?
Oh, the BB gun?
Yeah.
That wasn't even me.
Oh, I thought that was you.
No, I'm not the one that shot her.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I could have sworn you told me it was you.
I blew out the windshield of a car. Get your stories right.
I could have
If you're
sworn it
going
was
to convict me of something, at least make it,
I thought it was you. I thought you said you did it.
Jeez, now I know how the Central Park 5 felt.
No, but wasn't there something with the telephone too?
The girl that broke my arm with a phone?
Oh, karma again. We'll get to all those lovely stories. So, second year, second grade, you were a troublemaker.
Yeah, I mean, the other incident, which if anybody's listening to when I said the not Hulk Hogan,
The Incredible Hulk.
the Incredible Hulk, they had these, again, you're going to have to be 50 or 60. They had these things that were made out of rubber called Stretch Armstrong that you could pull their arms 4 feet apart or their legs or their head or neck. And I had one that was the Incredible Hulk. And you could twist them and turn them and they would go right back to shape. Well, we had lunch and I threw mine on top of the radiator. For anybody who doesn't know what a radiator is, it gets up to 150 degrees or so or whatever.
It's those funny things that are shaped like this that heat your house.
Gives off a lot of heat. Well, rubber and heat don't mix, so by the time we came back, it was melted all over the thing, stinking, smoking, and so I got in trouble for that one.
The important question, did your mom replace it?
No. No, anything stupid like that, she was not replacing. Like, you're a moron, then you're just going without it.
So let's go to third grade.
Like I said, I don't remember if these incidents were second grade or third grade, so I don't know.
So third grade, you were still a troublemaker. We're just going to go with yes.
Again, I can't confirm or deny. I would assume it hadn't gotten any better through high school and adulthood, so I'm assuming that 1 year I probably didn't clean up my act.
This is true. True story. He's not lying. Is there anything you remember drastically about third grade?
I liked being there.
You liked being there because you were a big fish in a small pond?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I was, as weird as it sounds, and I'm sure people looking at me are going, he's full of shit. I was one of the cool kids at that school. So I was, actually at the only time in my life, that's when I was popular for those 4 years. Now, as weird as it is, you're 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever.
Yeah, and keep in mind that these kids that you went to school with probably lived in a sheltered life and didn't get out, and the only people they knew were their siblings or...
Yeah, they didn't hear some of the stuff that came out of my mouth before, and, or see you talk back to an adult and not listen to authority. They didn't see that, so...
So part of it then could be that they were in all of you because you had the guts to do it, but then as you got punished, they were like, he's an idiot.
I never had those conversations with anyone, but that's a fair assessment.
So
I don't know about the being in awe, but it was just
they were like, oh, I wish I had the guts to do that.
like he just told that teacher to shut up.
Yeah. So
And now he's crying.
was it worth it? All right. So
Apparently it was because I did it repeatedly.
so now,
And again, that was another thing that never really changed in life. No lessons learned.
so now we're getting ready to be done third grade. You're told that the following year you're going to public school.
Yeah, that's the year my mom finally had enough of my father and kicked him out. Well, gave him an ultimatum. We always went to church on Sunday mornings. And then summers were like vacation Bible school, which I hated that. The best part of that was
The cookies.
no
Oh.
Kool-Aid and pretzels.
Oh, okay.
If there was cookies, I wouldn't have complained at all. But Kool-Aid and pretzels.
It's ironic that they gave you Kool-Aid at Bible school.
Well, Jim Jones wasn't there, so we weren't in Guyana. For anybody that knows that
I'm sorry.
cult story.
Do not drink the Kool-Aid. Okay.
But, so she had had enough of him being out all night, coming home, smelling like cologne, wearing jewelry. Like, where did you go that you needed to put on all the jewelry and the cologne? You knew what he was doing. She finally gave him the ultimatum. We're going to church. If you're still here when we get back, then I assume that you want to be a husband and a father. If you're not here, or if you don't want to be, then pack your shit and get out. So we came back from church and he was gone. Ironically, he moved up the street, literally like around the corner, to some apartment. So then, obviously, single mom, she wasn't working, she was the homemaker.
Right.
So she had to started signing up with, I don't know if they still have temp services, like Kelly something or
Kelly Staffing. Mm-hmm.
and there was something else. I forget the other one. Started a cleaning business with her sister, home cleaning. Had to sell the house and all of that stuff. So obviously, private school's out. You're going back to, the public school in town. So that was fourth grade.
How did that go?
Not good. not as well as I had hoped.
Although the paddling stopped.
The getting in trouble didn't, but yeah, they
they didn't paddle in public school.
yeah, they weren't allowed to hit you.
Oh, they could. Corporal punishment's still in the books. They just don't. Like this district didn't allow them.
The one time the teacher put their hands on me, he almost got fired and sued.
So yeah, the district don't allow them, but in the state it's still, which is why the private schools can do it. Yeah. So you're in fourth grade, going to school with your friends from the neighborhood, or so you thought.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird because like overnight it went from sleeping over friends' houses, or when I was able to, because that started to be a problem, but hanging out and being over their house, watching TV or playing Legos or G.I. Joe or whatever it was, went to you're in school and you're now the new kid. Which I was like, what the hell? Like, I just had lunch at your house yesterday, dumbass. How does this...
Did you ever figure out why?
No, because I never kept in contact with anybody from school except literally for like one or two people, mainly one. And that was high school, not middle school or anything. I could only assume that some of it was because I took a private bus, went to a private school, you got the shirt and tie and the pants, and so you're now...
better than them.
you think you're somebody. When you're 6 or 7 years old, it wasn't my life choice to
But
go
you
to.
liked it.
Yeah, I did. I liked the school. I liked the attention more of being, you know, I guess popular as opposed to just being one of the, you know, a little brother or one of the little runts on the block or whatever. Now it's like,
You were somebody.
you're like, hey, I feel special.
Can you remember anything drastic that happened in 4th grade? All right, well, let's go back before we even say that. Now your parents are split. So you're seeing your dad on the weekends, maybe?
So the arrangement was every Sunday he would come over. Now back then there was this thing called the Blue Laws, which stores were not allowed to open up until I think noon,
Noon
and they
to
had
5.
to be and they had to be closed by like 4 or 5.
5, yeah.
And it didn't matter what it was, except bars. I think for some reason I don't. Maybe they weren't even open on Sundays.
I know liquor stores and beer distributors were not allowed to be open. I'm not sure about bars, though.
I think maybe if they had food, they were. I don't know.
Probably it'd be a
I
restaurant.
remember being in some bars with them, more than a few. So, and back then, as a kid, you could go in, have soda,
Yeah.
play pinball, or whatever.
Yeah, I think the rules now are just that you're not allowed to sit at the bar.
You're not allowed to be in the bar at all unless they have a restaurant.
Or serve food. Okay, yeah. Yeah, because I'm trying to think but I don't think there's any bars anymore that don't serve food.
Well, they all serve food for that point,
yeah.
that purpose.
So,
So, yeah, he was supposed to come over every Sunday. That lasted for about, I'll say, 6 to 8 months maybe, where he was there regularly.
what changed?
Well, when you're up all night or up all week doing drugs and drinking, I guess Sunday you want to sleep in.
Where was your brother during this?
So I was 9, he's 15. He was off doing Quaaludes, and he was experimenting with,
Public service announcement. Do not do drugs.
he was experimenting with, he was into Pink Floyd and Rush and, other bands and stuff like that. So from what I remember, he was off experimenting with, probably, I know specifically the Quaalude incident because he was ice skating on somebody's coffee table, or thought he was ice skating, and ended up cutting his lip. Or
What did he try to do? A triple axel or something?
tried to stick the landing and
Stuck something.
didn't work. I don't know.
All right. So when you went to.
Because at that time I had I had injured myself. We used to build forts. Well, just get this out of the way. For any kids out there or whatever who remember this or don't, we used to actually build our own little homes out in the woods out of spare wood, plywood, trees, 2x4s, car seats, whatever. That was your sofa. You would find an old car that somebody abandoned.
Ow, okay, I'm sorry.
You would rip the car seat out of it, put that in the fort. Now you had somewhere to sit down. So now your fort was way better than the other kids because you had furniture.
I'm picturing a baby car seat, and I'm like, who's going to fit in that? Sorry.
No, we weren't that small. So there was always somebody building a fort, whether it was up a tree house or somebody was building like a dock out into the creek and then built a fort out there, or somebody was trying to build a 3-story fort, and there was all kinds of crazy stuff. It's just what you did. There wasn't a whole lot to do.
Tetanus was real.
What's
I
that?
said tetanus was real. So,
So I was climbing back and forth over this fence because it was where I wanted to build the fort. There was some water, so we were taking dirt. I don't know why we just didn't build the fort somewhere else. Apparently, this was prime real estate. So
it was waterfront property.
yeah, but I was filling the water in. So
I think that takes away from the price value.
yeah, I'm not Donald Trump. I don't have that real estate mentality. I saw a hole, I filled it in. So now you can also, if you're not old enough, look up the 70s, what people were wearing. And I had these rubber boots, which were, if I remember, green and yellow.
Oh, excuse me.
Mushroom.
Thank you.
Green and yellow. Strictly for just walking in the rain. They were not for climbing fences.
Wait a second. I have to ask this. Was it raining when you were building your fort?
No, but there was water there. So, in my infinite wisdom, was like, I'll wear my rain boots. That way, my socks won't get wet. The water was only 5 or 6 inches deep. You know, it wasn't that deep. So
You're not making this any better for yourself.
I did not put this out there as some kind of like wisdom. Don't follow any of this. Don't follow anything that I'll ever do. Trust me. You know, and then the shorts back then weren't much more than, I don't know what you call it, Daisy Dukes, booty shorts, whatever. And that was for boys. That's, you know, you look up 70s basketball shorts and you go, yikes. That's what I was wearing. Well, I was climbing back and forth across the fence. The fence was a chain link fence that the company had turned upside down.
So people wouldn't climb it.
Probably. But that didn't stop me. So
rebel.
If you've ever seen the bottom of a chain link fence,
It's like this.
they're just spikes. And they are pointed and very sharp and rusted. So the one boot slipped. I landed on the inside of my right thigh, was hanging upside down. Anybody that gets grossed out easy, this is going to get graphic. I was hanging by my leg on those spikes. Didn't know it at the time, just thought, like, I'm stuck. I can't.
What did you think you were stuck on?
I didn't know. And I literally just grabbed the fence and kind of pulled myself up, and I fell off of it. And I felt my leg stinging. And I put my hand down there, and it went right in. Like, I had a hole about, you know,
Okay.
bigger enough where I could put my adult fist in it at this point. It had tore it open.
Cool.
So I literally put my hand in and could feel something that you shouldn't, like, where's my leg? And then looked down and lost my shit and took off running. And one of the kids that was there was on a bike, like, trying to stop me. Now, I wasn't that far. I mean, my mom heard me screaming from where it, you know, from when I noticed it. And he was trying to catch me, and he couldn't on the bike because I was just like Forrest Gump, like.
And it's crazy because this man cannot run. This man cannot run at all. I've seen it. I'm a witness.
I can. It just looks a little odd.
So we all seen Forrest Gump, right?
It's not that bad. But anyway.
It's worse.
So I get in the house, and at that point, my brother was there, and, you know, my mom called 911, and I just kept saying, "Don't let me see it," because I had looked down, and, you know, you could see the muscle, and there's skin hanging open, there's blood everywhere. So he just kept, like, he did like a parrot and threw a towel over my head. And my mom was like, "What are you doing?"
Well, you did say you didn't want to say it.
Yeah, I didn't care. I was just like, And I didn't. I was screaming like out of fear, but I wasn't crying at that point.
Okay.
So he goes with me to the hospital, and my mom, because my mom has the car, she follows.
And at this point, he's like 16, 15, 16.
He's 15.
Okay.
Yeah. So then we're in the hospital room. I guess they had already, I don't know what they did, but I was like laying there, and he was just talking to me, and my mom was talking to me, and they had specialists had to come in to make sure there wasn't any nerve or muscular
Right.
damage and all that. And then when they said, okay, we can stitch you up, they had some kind of funky gun that had like 5 or 6 needles on it or something. Or something where they just put it in and there's like 4 or 5 needles to inject the numbing,
Okay.
the local. And that's when I lost my shit. Like that hurt.
Okay.
That's why I was like, "Rrr." And I don't know if I passed out or because I know I forget how many stitches. I think it was 16. It was like 8 inside, 8 outside, which doesn't seem like a lot, but if you see the scar, it's pretty gnarly. Like it's like half of my leg, and there's another chunk up here that was missing. But I just remember getting into the wheelchair, and as I'm going out, there's a piece of my leg on the floor that they had clipped the skin off. I guess it was ruined, and they missed the trash can or the
Bio box. Yeah.
whatever, and it was laying on the floor, and I'm like, is that my leg? I guess I was probably on some meds. But at home, at the time, my mom's selling the house. I'm laying on the couch while people are coming in and out to look at the house. I end up getting sick, probably from a reaction to the injury,
Right.
and the meds, and all that crap. So now,
The rust on the fence.
so now I'm throwing up. The next day is when he bust his face or whatever he did with the Quaaludes. And
And
so,
you were in public school this time.
yeah. So that was because that would have been, well, you know what? That was that summer. So I hadn't started school yet.
Okay.
It was the summer between third and fourth. No. Yeah. I was already, yeah, because I was, hold on. Sorry. I gotta do my math here. So third grade, because I got held back, I was 9. So I had just turned 9 and I hadn't entered fourth grade yet.
Okay.
So it was that summer. So 79. So, like I said, all that stuff was going on, and my mom's dealing with like a moron who just fell on a fence trying to build lakefront condos. A moron who thought he was, a figure skater on somebody's coffee table, and people trying to sell the house and find somewhere to live and pay off, all the bills and everything, because the house was only 4 years old. So, she got a few thousand out of the house to pay off, furniture that had been financed and a credit card. Because my dad was not helping in any way. Literally told her, if you come after me for any kind of money, I'm just going to disappear.
May have been better.
For me,
Hindsight.
For me, it would have been.
So, fourth grade. So your school that you went to was from first to eighth, right?
Well, no. At that time, it was K through 5. Right at that point.
So is there anything in fourth and fifth grade that triggered it, like that you could think of anything that was like good, bad, like anything that besides like you had said that the bullying came back to bite you in the butt.
Yeah, the bullying hadn't started at that point yet.
Okay.
That was coming.
Okay.
It was more just, you're now not popular. You're now, I hope this doesn't offend anybody. You're now the nerd. You're now You're the outcast,
So let me ask you this.
regardless of the fact that I'm hanging out with them, riding bikes, building forts, and doing dumb shit at night and on the weekends. But in school, totally different story. Now, also that school year we had moved.
So it's a whole different group of people too now that you're
Right.
around.
So now I move away from all my friends. Now, it's in the same town, but this town is kind of weird, as in there's two different sections that make up the township. I guess two boroughs, or
Right.
so it's a township with two, at the time, two different zip codes, two different everything.
So you went from one to the other.
Yeah.
So you went for more. So you guys can understand. He went from one end of town to the other end of town.
I couldn't have gotten any further. I was the furthest house that we had lived in when my parents were together, and I was almost the furthest house on the other side.
So it's a whole different. And so this town that he lives in. It's a very awkward town. So kids couldn't walk from one end of the town to the other end of the town because of what was around at that time.
You rode bikes,
Right,
or you hopped a train.
but do not hop trains. Jeez.
No, don't hop them. I'm just saying that's what we would do. If we wanted to get to the other end of town, you'd wait for the freight train to come by, jump on the train, hope that the dude didn't shoot you with the rock salt, and hop off.
Back to what I was saying. So you had a whole different group of friends now, even though you were still in school with the same group.
I made new friends.
Yeah.
From living there, because there were a couple that, now, again, it also went from maybe some of the outcasts are looking down, because now you don't live in a house, you live in an apartment. These were
Duplexes.
is that what the upstairs and downstairs? Yeah.
There's two of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4.
No, it was just one building, and one family lived downstairs, one lived upstairs.
I don't know. That want to be a duplex set. Okay, so it's just apartments. Yeah.
So, yeah. So I don't know. Maybe now you're poor, which we were. You know, my mom was struggling we were only there for 10 months. And then her sister's husband, brother-in-law, owned a couple of houses currently where, she ended up passing, and I'm still at. We moved into that within 10 or 11 months from then. So 81, I think.
So then when you got a house, did you become popular again? Not popular, but
No.
were they more welcoming?
No.
Okay. So now
I had more friends. I'll say that because of certain things that I got into, as far as you start to get into music, or, bikes became a big thing at that time. Everybody was tricking out their bikes, and there was a track in town that somebody had built, some of the older kids had built.
Okay.
There was one kid that literally went out to Lake California to do like BMX shit, and then he would come back, and there was just an area in the woods that was, jumps and turns, and we would build. I mean, we were always doing jumping ramps and doing dumb shit, but it got a little more serious as far as like the level of bikes and that kind of stuff. So
4th, 5th, 6th, anything that stands out drastically to you?
still the issues with my dad. I mean, I think a lot of the crap that went on in school was in part to having to deal with him.
So let me ask you a question. Take it from an acquaintance, a friend's point of view. Yo, Brian, you want to go and hang out today? We're doing X, Y, Z. No, I can't. I'm supposed to go with my dad. Monday, what'd you do yesterday? Nothing. Sat at home all day. Kind of like a slap in their face. They asked you to do something and you didn't because you were waiting for your dad. So I'm sure that probably weighed on you too. Like, I could have been doing this and I'm waiting here.
Yeah, because like I said, the first 6 months he was like every Sunday, and then it just started drifting off to every other week, once a month, every other month, every 3 months, a couple times a year, a card on your birthday, and then nothing.
Did your mom ever ask him why?
I
That you
think
know of.
I think she knew why he was a drinker and partier, and that was more important than anything.
And what was your brother's relationship with your dad?
He was closer with him, but he was 15 at the time, so he had a group of friends, like a solid group of friends
Right.
that he always hung out with. So, by then he was,
Doing his own thing.
he's in high school. He's, you know, selling weed and smoking weed and doing all kinds of stuff and having a good time. So he wasn't it. He never understood that part of why I like wanted to beat the shit out of my father. He just didn't get it because it didn't affect him the same way. It just didn't bother him.
Right. When he was your age, your dad was still there.
And I'm sure if it was flipped around and the roles were reversed, I would have felt the same way.
Probably.
Like, what do you like? Stop your crying. What are you worried about?
So,
But by the time he was 17, he got kicked out of the house and he was living with my father.
how did that work for you?
Oh, I mean, we'd had this conversation before, and I was kind of thrilled because now I had my own room.
But what about the relationship with your father and you and your brother and you?
Me and my brother weren't all that close growing up because most of the time when something went down at home, when something got broke, regardless of whoever did it, he got blamed. And I made sure of it.
Evil little thing that you are. So,
So I mean, we weren't. There wasn't a whole lot of love lost at that point. He was like, I can get away from this little jerk off and go live at this party house because that's all that was. It was, my dad sold drugs, did drugs, and that's all that was coming and going on the weekends and stuff like that. And then the drinking, the partying, that's my dad's lifestyle.
so did your mom know about the drugs?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. Because I can't
Yeah, she
wrap
wouldn't.
my mind letting you go over if she knew about that.
No. And she wouldn't have sent him there knowing that either. Now, she knew he liked to drink, but my brother at that point had and for anybody that's ever heard of, you can look it up, Encyclopedia Britannica, the adult version, the bigger ones, the brown ones, not the little red kid ones, threw one of them at her. And she blocked it and called my dad and said, come and get him or I'm going to kill him.
I can't picture her not beating the shit out of him.
It took everything she had not to go after him. And I don't care how bad he thought he was. I don't think he would have been able to whoop my mom's ass.
So,
There's only a couple of women that I ever respected that much, or maybe you want to call feared, and she was one of them.
so now you're at home with your mom by yourself. You're in 6th grade by now, 7th grade?
I was 12. So, yeah, 6th.
All right. So you have 2 more years at elementary school because now the elementary schools go up to 8th grade now at this point. They switched.
Well, yeah, when I was in 5th, they switched it, and 6th, 7th, and 8th all stayed in the same elementary school. They demolished the middle school and got rid of it, and it still to this day it's K through 8 in each individual town.
So,
Which I was relieved because there was like horror stories of middle school and
was this the one on
South
South?
Avenue.
Yeah.
like how grimy it was and rodents and a just nasty
Yeah.
environment. Now that may have been some of why they were doing it. There was also, from what I remember, a lot of talk of fights and that kind of stuff going on, which those 4 towns that went there doesn't surprise me at all.
So I believe in middle schools. I believe that elementary school should cap off at a certain age. Then before you get to your freshman year, I think you should have a middle school where all the towns come together. I did. Like where I went to school, it stopped at 6th, 7th, and 8th. We were in a middle school. And then 8th grade or 9th grade, we went up to the high school. And I think the 7th and 8th grade years is when you built a rapport with other kids. And because you go into freshman year, I was big shit at my school for 8 years. Well, no, now you're big shit at your school for 6 years. You're coming into, in my school district, it was 7th and 8th. You came into the school 7th grade. Well, who are you? I never heard of you. I don't know who you are. Like, so you learn to.
Yeah, but doesn't that happen at 6th grade? The same thing?
No.
Who the hell are you?
No, because, and I want to keep it honest, and this is, I guess, the medical side of me. At 6th grade, the boys' testosterone isn't as bad as it is freshman year.
Yeah, I mean, at 11, you haven't hit puberty yet, so you're not all jacked up and ready to whoop somebody's ass.
All the schools around here went back to 1st through 8th at the elementary schools. They all have kindergarten academies now, and they went 1st through 8th at the elementary schools. The district I'm in, they are talking about now going back to the middle school, which I think will cut down on the fights because you're blending everyone before the testosterone takes over their brains. So stop and think about it. If you would have went to high school in 7th grade, right?
Middle school?
Middle school in 7th grade, do you think you would have still had the problems you had, at elementary school?
There's no way to know that answer.
Did you change the way you were when you were at high school?
Did I change the way I was?
Going from 8th grade to 9th grade that summer, did you see a huge change in yourself?
No, I was not looking forward to going to high school.
Okay. Just because of what you went through elementary school?
I just hated school, period.
Okay.
From 4th grade on, I could do without this.
So...
I mean, 6th grade, 4th and 5th, like I said, it was kind of like a blur, all the crap that was going on with, family and all that stuff. So, and 6th to 7th is when the bullying, that's when that came in.
Okay.
From one particular person. Now, there were other ones that, that would, you're at a recess and they, tackle you and do the whole, pin you down and go, oh, I'm not touching you, like, get the fuck off me. But nothing to that to the degree that this new kid who moved into town, for some reason, decided that probably I was just an easy target because at that point I was not talking to too many people. I had gotten quiet. I was shy. So much like the girl at Christian Academy, I was an easy target.
There goes the word karma.
Yeah.
I'm not making fun of it, but I'm saying a lot.
Well, karma is a positive thing, not a negative.
So is it positive that you were bullied? I mean, probably. No, I'm not saying.
I'll tell you, there are people who respond different. Now, it did get to a point to where it eventually, we'll get into that it stopped, and I got into some fights, and then people just started.
Well, that's actually.
And people started to just, okay, we'll just go mess with somebody else who's not going to fight back. Because most bullies don't want to get punched in the mouth.
Right.
And when they do, they
get knocked down a few steps, yeah.
Oh,
so.
Wait, you weren't supposed to do that?
So that's what I want to do. I want to end in 8th grade and then start the next one you're senior. You're going into high school.
Still in 6th.
So that's what I'm saying. Is there anything in 7th and 8th grade that you can think of that?
Well, I mean, bullying from 6th to 7th, this new kid moved to town.
Right.
Again, we'll just call him Shithead because I don't remember his name. And we did end up becoming friends in 8th grade. It was one of those stories. Because he didn't have any friends. He felt awkward and out of place, and he's the new kid, and he did it to try and
make a name for himself,
get attention, and hey, I'm cool, and I'm gonna beat up the nerd kid, but it never got to that point. Except he would. So I was staying with my grandparents.
Okay.
So it was like after school, I would go over to my grandparents, and then my mom would pick me up. So this is from like 6th into 7th. So my grandparents, you could like see the back of their house from the school. So all I had to do is go down the street half a block and then over, and I'm there. So he would chase me from school to the fence. Now they had German Shepherds, so I didn't, once I was in the yard, I didn't care.
But that still had to be scary.
Yeah, I mean, it got to the point where I didn't want to go to school anymore, and didn't. I would head to school, and then we lived by the railroad track, so I could just sit down by the tracks and wait for my mom to leave, and I would leave the basement window open, and then, back then,
excuse me,
I was a lot shorter, didn't weigh much. The weight difference isn't much, but I could, scoot through, get in the house, and, watch Price is Right or Looney Tunes and stuff like Bugs Bunny and all that.
And this was, you weren't going to your grandparents anymore?
No, this was during that period.
So what, you would leave your house and then go to your grandparents?
No. I would... Oh, on the days that I cut school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just, like, head over there, like, sneak my way around and act like I had been at school. And then over the summer, I told you the story before, but I was working at a sandwich shop. And I had walked out front and got punched in the face. I found out later it was him, but I never saw who did it. It was literally like Casper the Ghost just walked up, popped me, and disappeared.
Was gone.
Like, I couldn't ID anybody. Like, there was a fist, and that was it. It didn't hurt. I was just like...
shocked.
Like, what the hell just happened? I walked inside, and they were like, what was that for? I'm like, I don't know. And then I found out, the next day or went back to school, he was like, oh, you got beat up. And I'm like, there's nothing there. I'm like, yeah, I guess that was you. Somebody punched me, but I don't know. Were you running? Were you jogging and just saw me stick my head out of the sandwich shop and decided to punch me on your way by? Because I don't know where he went after that.
After that, were you guys friends?
It was, my mom ended up getting involved because my dad wouldn't do anything about it. He would, be a man, take care of your own shit. I was like, well, maybe if you would have taught me how to fight, maybe I'd know what the hell to do. Didn't know how to make a fist. I hadn't been in a fight, never got hit, didn't. But my mom went to the school. I guess there was some kind of a meeting of the morons, and that ended that. And then the end of 7th into 8th is he found out that I had a guitar and was into, rock and starting to get into that stuff. So we kind of hung out a few times, and had been cool ever since. It's weird that I still can't remember his name, but
how was 8th grade then?
Uneventful. By then, you're now, 13? I was 14. I would say I was I can't say I was into girls. I was interested in girls, but they weren't interested in me. Because up until that point, and we had this conversation about, again, if you want to look them up, my mom couldn't afford a lot. So you wore a lot of, hand-me-downs and the same clothes you'd see, a T-shirt that you wore on Monday, you wore again on Thursday.
Right.
It's like, ew, it was in the wash. Relax. We did have a washer. But the shoes were called Buster Browns. And they're multi-purpose shoes.
No, they're not.
They're well, they were for me. They were work boots. They were sneakers. They were dress shoes. They were snow boots. They were utility shoes.
Wait a second. Did you put plastic bags over them for snow boots?
No, you put plastic bags over your socks, over your feet, and then put them in.
Okay. They're not waterproof.
No.
That's why I asked.
They're like a brushed suede or
Yes.
something that,
Catholic schools still actually use them.
you grew out of them before they wore out.
Yeah.
Like they lasted.
Yeah.
Like as long as your feet didn't grow too fast.
They were durable.
you
They
were-
were, like I said, the Catholic schools, they would either use, or even private schools, they would use either for the girls, it would be the saddle shoes, which are the black and white ones. And they also had the brown suede ones. Now though, we've come into a new century. They actually let the boys wear black shoes and they don't have to wear the brown ones.
But that's what she could afford. And so it was, you got looked on, I mean, there was a song called Bobos.
I know what you're talking about.
They cost $1.99. These cost a little bit more than that.
So
but
Bobos, they're $1.99 and they make your feet feel fine.
Yeah.
Bobos.
heard that quite a few times.
But it's crazy because people spend $30 on Bobos now.
Well, now they're popular.
Yeah, I mean,
Some moron celebrity wears something, and people are wearing Skechers. 10 years ago, you'd never catching any kids wearing Skechers.
no.
Like now, everybody's wearing them.
So you liked girls, they just
So,
didn't
yeah.
like you.
The Three Stooges haircut didn't help. The clothes, my nose, it wasn't any smaller then. I had moles. I still have them, but I'd had like at least 12 removed from my face and neck and head area. I had like a cyst here, so I was a little, elephant man looking. I was not the most attractive dude in school. I wasn't in the top 500, let's put it that way.
And there was only 200 in his school.
3 maybe.
So
So I mean that was, I remember asking 2 girls, one girl to a dance and one girl out. And the one I asked to a dance semi-laughed. I know the other one said no to going out, but I don't remember the reaction. I'm sure it was like, could you please get away from me? But yeah, it was just I mean, most people probably went through the same thing. I mean,
they're your awkward years.
yeah. Just shy, awkward, no confidence whatsoever to talk to anybody, let alone a girl. Like that was like no. And by 8th grade, I had started smoking pot and drinking. So I kind of, as weird as it might sound, I was more interested in hanging out and doing that than trying to hook up with some girl. Like, for that, like that and my freshman year, like smoking weed was like my number one thing.
So that's what we're going to get into next. Our next episode, we're going to do the high school years.
Smoking weed. Oh,
No,
high school.
no, the high school years. Unfortunately, what he did in high school years is going to cover that part, but still. All right?
It doesn't get any better.
It's just more entertaining. All right, so we will see you in the next episode.